Hello and welcome to Upskill Your Parenting, a parent video series by Cultivate Mankato. What we did is we wanted to be able to help all the parents build skills and knowledge in their parenting. We know that there's lots of information out there and that parents want and wish they could take it all in, but we don't always have the time to go research those best articles, read through them. So we did it for you. We took hot topics that a lot of parents requested information on, or the questions that we get asked a lot. And we put them into short little video clips for you to be able to learn more and get more ideas and strategies and get more skills in parenting. So here we go. Let's upskill your parenting. What we did is, again, we took a couple articles in regards to this topic, guiding your child's behavior using positive reinforcement. Now, who doesn't want that? Just the title in itself is something that I think all parents truly do want and wish they could have. But it's not as easy as it sounds to always be positive. But we're hoping that this video and learning a little bit more about it will maybe give you some ideas and encourage you exactly how to do it or what it might look like. So again, we want to give credit to these couple articles that this information was summarized from. What positive reinforcement is based on? Some of the main points. It's based on kindness and firmness. It focuses on the good in people. So again, that's really going to help the kids build their self-esteem if we are focusing on what the good is in them. We want to make sure that they know that not all behaviors are appropriate, but all emotions are normal. We see a lot of kids coming in and they're scared to have those emotions or certain emotions because they think those are bad or that they shouldn't have them. So we want to make sure that using positive reinforcement, it helps the children understand that the emotions are fine. It's more of the behavior is what we want to help with them. Also, it encourages the desired behavior and helps all involved feel better. So why positive discipline? According to Jane Nelson, who has been writing on positive parenting since the 1980s, positive discipline tools eliminate the need for punishment and prevent the potential damage that can be caused by permissive parenting. Let's reflect a little bit on that. So we want to think about this quote. Many of us come from families of poor communicators where we were taught that negative emotions were not okay. Gottman reminds us that while not all behaviors are appropriate, all emotions are normal, and we want to acknowledge and validate them so that our children do not learn to define themselves through their missteps. So this really is a time I wanted you to reflect on what your parents' discipline style was like. So what you grew up with, because what happens is that it doesn't always come natural for us to have a positive discipline style to our parenting. So first, I think it's really important that we just acknowledge what kind of parenting style is going to be our go-to. When we are in a survival mode or an emotional mode in our state of mind, what are we going to go to? We're going to always go back to what we learned or what the environment was like when we were children. So we have to be aware of that so we can acknowledge it and change that. Also, what I'd like you to think a little about is how do you think it shaped your behaviors, your emotions, and your inner talk? So I really hope you do take some time to think about that because it's really going to affect your thinking and being able to step out of those shoes and try to do something different than maybe that you grew up with. What do you remember that your parents did that you know was very hurtful or that you know was really hard on you? And reflect on that and hopefully do something different and remember that. Again, not always easy, but we definitely can try. What is positive discipline? It is intended to encourage desired behaviors by introducing rewards shortly after the occurrence to increase the likelihood of repetition. So again, it's just going to be that positive reinforcement. When you see a behavior happen that you want, the desired behavior, if you give a reinforcement after that, you're going to see that more often. It's just like us and all as adults. I think so much of this relates to that. Think of you. If you do a behavior at work or at home with partners, spouses, whoever it is, bosses, coworkers, if you do behavior and you get positive reinforcement for it, are you more likely to do that behavior again? Absolutely. It's how our brain works. So it's the same for the kids. So it's a really good thing to remember as you're in those moments. Positive discipline is used with other models and is complementary to the teaching of skills. Always make sure that the child has been taught or is capable of the skill and the behavior. So we have to remember that this is a discipline, and behavior management is not about a consequence or a timeout. It is about teaching. We have to remember that that element has to be part of this. Kids don't naturally know how to behave. They don't naturally know how to handle their emotions. Some of us as adults even still have a hard time with that. So we have to remember that we are also teaching the children what to do. A technique that involves, or positive discipline is a technique that involves understanding the reason of behavior. So always knowing that behavior communicates something. So if you think of one thing after behavior, or maybe a behavior that you're really struggling with, if you can say to yourself, what are they trying to tell me? Or what are they trying to get? Or what are they trying to get out of? So always thinking about that will really help you in deciding how to respond to it. It involves acceptance of mistakes as an opportunity to learn. If you make sure that the opportunity to make a mistake is open with your child, they're going to be much more able to try different things and not be self-conscious of what the outcome is going to be. A technique involves cultivation of mutual respect and shared problem solving. It's focused on positive. It encourages the desired behavior and helps all involved feel better. It's complementary to the behavior, not the person. So really make sure that we're always connecting that it's the choice they made that was wrong, but not them. They're still a good person. It's that choice. And that's a really good thing to always use, and a phrase, and I use it often with the kids to make sure that they don't ever feel like it's them that is bad. And it's also about attention and affection. So when we talk about the positive reinforcement and the positive discipline, it doesn't mean it always has to be a reward. It can just be about the attention and the affection from the parent. Rewards. So let's talk a little bit about this. And so since positive discipline is based on rewards, I want to make sure we're clear on what we mean by rewards. There's different types of rewards. There's natural reinforcers, that satisfaction. So what we want from this is we want them to feel proud. We want that to be internally something they go for, is making their mom and dad proud of them. So if you want them to feel proud and strive for that, do you want mom and dad to be proud of you? This is what we need to do. So talk about what it is that makes you proud. Not only what's going to make you sad or mad or what you don't want them to do. What is going to make them proud? Social reinforcers, we have token reinforcers. This is something that you might, the token reinforcers is something that you work towards for a bigger reward. So it might not be a reward each time, but maybe something given to them that they're working towards a big reward. Tangible rewards. These are used only to kickstart motivation or to restore motivation. Always tie this to the value or behavior you're trying to promote. Reinforcements may diminish in power. So that just means to change the reinforcer. So if you have something that's going and this is working great, and then all of a sudden it's like, I don't know what happened. That doesn't matter to them anymore. It doesn't mean that you should stop and just let the behavior keep going. It might just mean that you need to have a different reinforcer and something else to motivate them. Be careful not to be excessive with praise. The child will start to tell when you aren't being genuine. So we want to have a balance of all of those things. So we don't constantly want to be praising them, because otherwise it just won't mean anything to them anymore. Talk a little bit about timeouts. So I really encourage you to reframe the idea of timeouts. So instead of using timeouts, reframe this thinking to removing them from the situation. It should not be be left alone, but it's to be used to decompress and self-regulate. And your support is needed in this. Sometimes what we do is we just put a child in timeout because we don't want to deal with them anymore, right? We can't deal with it and we're not sure what to do. So that's our next step or strategy. So instead of calling it a timeout, it might just be a popular word as a calm down area or chill zone or something like that. So basically what it is to help that child acknowledge that they are dysregulated and that they need some time to get regulated again before you can restart discussion on what it was or talk to them about it. Again, your support is needed in this. It is not sending them somewhere and just letting them be. It's helping them figure out what they need to get calm in different strategies that way. So that's going to be a whole nother upskill video. So if that's something of interest to you, is to talk more about what do I need to do for a calm down area, that will be another video that you could listen to and watch. Sorry, we're going to go back to this one real quick. We also want to pinpoint that there's a difference between rewards and bribes. They both offer something for the behavior, but the way that they are offered is different. Bribes happen in a crisis. For instance, you're in a store and you're standing in line and a child wants something that's right next to them, the sucker, the gum, whatever it be, and they have a complete meltdown. For whatever reason, it could not even be because of that. They're having a meltdown. So what you do is you tell them, I'll get you a sucker if you stop crying. I'll get you a sucker if you get off the floor. So now what you've done is you have just rewarded their negative behavior. So that's something that we really want to be careful of, is that's not considered a reward in what we're talking about with positive discipline. Rewards are planned ahead of time. That is, this is what I expect from you. We're doing positive. What is it that you want from them? And then if this happens, here is the result. Positive discipline is not based only on rewards. We just want to remember that too, as in a actual thing, tangible thing. The love and affection is also a piece of it, or just your time and attention is a big thing for them. So that could be the reward. Many parents use behavior charts. So I just wanted to give a little bit on the do's and don'ts of this from the article that we are referencing. If you're going to use a behavior chart, make it clear what behaviors you are working towards. Identify the prize ahead of time. Identify how many stickers need to be saved up, and make sure that this is something that's achievable. So you want to start real low. We don't want to set the bar way up here because the child's going to get easily frustrated. So start really low with maybe a small reward, but they can get it and they feel that satisfaction and that reward, and then you can amp it up to where you need to be and raise that bar. Use meaningful rewards that the children want to receive. Ask them what they want. Doesn't mean they're going to get whatever it is when they ask for a pony or their favorite trip to Disney World, whatever it be, but ask them, or maybe you can come up with a list and then they can pick. Keep your child's eyes on the prize. You can remind them of it or display it next to the behavior chart, whatever it be. Make sure you're consistent. This is probably the hardest thing, me even as a parent, and as I talk to parents, they always have good intention, but it's keeping that consistency can be the tough part. Connect the sticker or whatever it be to the targeted behavior by rewarding it right away. We want to make sure that we are not having a reward that's too far out. The younger the child, the more important that is. It's got to be an immediate reinforcer. So sometimes we have to think creative in what that reinforcer is going to be. As they get older, maybe the upper preschool age, they might start to understand a little bit more if that reward is delayed a little bit. Be positive and do not take away the stickers if the child misbehaves. This is also a big don't that happens a lot, and it's very understandable because, again, you sometimes get in a situation and you don't know what to do. So you want to take it away. But at this age, the kids are so, that sticker that got put on there for sitting nice at the table before, that's that. That's what that's for. But then you just went and took it away. Now they're thinking, well, does that behavior not matter anymore that I got it for before or got it for from before? So something to think about, because they really are concrete in their thinking what that sticker is for, and then it gets taken away from the other one. The child's really not going to understand that concept, and they're going to get frustrated pretty quickly, and you're actually then going to be dealing with a whole nother meltdown from that. Think of this as a reward and not a bribe. So we did touch on the bribes a little bit on that one. Lastly, we're going to finish out with some techniques and ideas to keep in mind. Create an environment that fosters good behaviors. So that's all about positive discipline and what we're doing. We want to focus on the good behaviors. Most incidents when I'm working with children and their behaviors, it is for attention. If they are doing a behavior, it's because they get the attention. So if anything, that might be something that you need to work on the most, is being able to ignore that behavior that you don't want them to be doing. But the minute you see them doing the behavior you want them to do, then that positive reinforcement comes in. And it could be natural reinforcer, as we talked about before. A child is whining or throwing a fit on the floor, crying, and you are going to ignore it. Instead of feeding into it and talking to them, you might just be able to say, Johnny, right now, I'm not going to listen to you because you are crying, you are upset. I'm going to wait until you're calm and you can come and talk to me in a normal voice, or whatever phrase you want to use. And so we're ignoring that, and as it happens. And then once they calm down, then our attention goes to them. So then they have the natural reinforcer. They just figured out, oh, that's how I get their attention, is by doing that behavior that they asked me for. Provide structure and clear limits. Teach them about natural consequences. Be a role model. do not be afraid to, when you are having those feelings, to tell them, I am frustrated, I am mad, I need to go take a break, I'm going to take some deep breaths. Be a model for them when you are having those, even if you maybe need to dramatize them a little bit. But they're going to watch you and they're going to see that. So if you get upset about something and they see you react to it, that's what they're going to feed off of. Pick your battles carefully and learn to live with mistakes. So again, make sure that you are not too hard on yourself or your child, and know that they're going to make mistakes, and bring out the things that they are doing good and remind yourself of that. Be open to discussion. Model emotional intelligence and show your child how you feel. Follow through and keep promises, good and bad, to foster trust and cultivate mutual respect. Parent according to personality. This is also very important, and I talk to a lot of parents about, is it, depending on what's going to work, it's about your child and their personality. So these are all ideas to throw in the tool belt and come out, but in the end, you have to pick one that works with your child. And again, always reframing towards a positive. And what we mean by that is when your child is doing an undesirable behavior, instead of saying, no, don't stop, or I don't like that, what do you want from them? Please put your feet on the ground. Or the couch is not a trampoline. Would you like to go jump? Whatever be. Or your toys are not to throw. Do you want to go get the ball? And should we throw that? So things like that. So what you're doing is, instead of just saying, no, don't stop, you're providing them with that replacement behavior. What do you want them to do them instead? What do you want them to do instead? And the other thing that I think is really hard, and kind of my last note that I wanted to bring up to you guys, is that sometimes when your child is doing the desired behavior that you want, or doing what you ask of them, it's really hard because you're going with what you're doing and you're in your zone, right? But if they're doing what you ask them to do, you've got to reinforce that. Because if the only time they're getting your attention is when they're doing something they're not supposed to, that's what you're going to get out of them, because that's what they've learned. So make sure that even during those quiet times when they are playing nicely or doing what it is that you've asked, making sure to touch in with them or touch base with them here and there and say, I really like how calm you're playing, or I really like that you are cleaning up all the toys that you spilled. Thank you for doing that. So that's kind of that positive reinforcement, and making sure that they know the attention and the love and affection they're going to get from you is based on the things that you want. So I hope this helped upskill your parenting a little bit, and look forward to seeing you on another video.